Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. Things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and medications are hard to pronounce, so please bear with me. Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready. Is it really safe to be alone? Yesterday, my roommates came home to find the table cracked, the wall dented, and I have a black eye and I bit my tongue. I'm getting a lot of caregiver hours a month, but I am alone at least 16 hours a day. And sometimes when the aura comes on and I wonder if this is the time, I die alone or really injure myself. It's not safe to be alone. Some of us can't help it because we don't have the support that others have, but it's not safe to be alone. I'm going to read this again since Rachel's here. It says, is it really safe to be alone? Yesterday, my roommate came home and to find the table cracked, the wall dented, and I have a black eye and bent tongue. I'm getting a lot of caregiver hours a month, but I'm alone at least 16 hours a day. And sometimes when the aura comes on, I wonder if this is the time I'm going to die alone or really injure myself. I don't suggest being alone. Like me, sometimes can't force people to not be there. To be there for you. So sometimes you just gotta live with what you're going through. And we're going through a lot. Rachel, what do you think about, you live alone?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you could definitely answer this person. Is it safe to be alone? Do you suggest being alone?
I think it just kind of depends on your situation, obviously. I don't know. I think me personally, I kind of know my situation. I know my body. I feel okay. I don't feel scared.
Oh, good. Sometimes I don't necessarily feel scared, but when I feel like maybe I should be like trying to stay somewhere safe, I'll sit like in the middle of the bed, get like a bad vibe, or I'm just not feeling good that day. When no one's here, I'll sit in the middle of the bed until my sister comes home or something.
Yeah, for sure. Same. I'll definitely, if I'm feeling off, just sit down. I'll just sit down the whole day.
Yeah. Rick, since you do stay alone sometimes, you think it's really safe?
Is Rick here?
Rick's not here yet. I meant to say Jeff. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was fine with it. I got lonely at times. I got lonely all the time. But that wouldn't happen now because I have you all. I didn't think it was not safe. Probably not the ideal situation for somebody with epilepsy, but I didn't feel I wasn't safe.
Yeah, also you have nocturnal seizures too, so.
Yes. That's part of the reason why I felt safe.
Yeah. I understand that.
For me, it was, I didn't leave the house mostly the day after I woke up and had a seizure the night before. I just wouldn't leave the house that day. But other than that, it was okay.
I got one here. Does anyone else treat their epilepsy like, fuck it, you only live once? I get a lot of crazy looks because I am kind of like, fuck it, you only live once with my epilepsy. I take meds and I try not to have seizures, but I also do what I want to do. without letting epilepsy stop me. Like I'm gonna rock climb next week with a friend, and they're like, "Dude, you can die," but I'm like, "Fuck it, I want to climb." I bike commute because it's a good way to get around and enjoy it. Even though my family tells me it's unsafe, my family tells me I shouldn't live alone, and I'm like, "Fuck it." In the comments, somebody says, "Yeah, life is too short. I'd rather die doing what I enjoy versus living in fear." I've heard that before. What do you say, Jason?
For me, like I would just I would completely say I would live alone. I mean, like I'll live alone. I mean, like well, I mean, like I mean, I don't know what the situation is, but like I have like but like I have like but I have like mean parents and stuff like that. So like for me, like for me, like I would live alone. So I can't blame the person. Well, I mean, I mean, like, but it also depends on like what the person is taking for the medicine.
Would you go rock climbing?
I would,
Yeah, I
but I would
wouldn't
have to
say.
go with a helmet.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Take some precautions, and you can do anything. Say don't let much hold you back, but I mean, be careful and don't do things that obviously could kill you. I mean, rock climbing.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you could die. A helmet won't help you if you fall from too high.
oh yeah, just like I heard someone on the news. I heard someone on the news like the other day that like a person died like at least like 70 feet from like rock climbing.
Uh, I
I
don't
forgot
hear a
the
lot of
article
rock
though.
climbing stories, but I hear it's. Well, no, I seen a documentary where a few people were doing it together, and a few people died. Earthquake during the climbing. Uh, yeah,
Um,
it's rough.
oh yeah, not fun.
Uh, Someone says, "How do I cope anymore?" I don't mean to be like cry for help. This isn't a hotline. I just feel so lost. I keep getting medicine. I think it's getting better with BAM seizure, BAM seizure. What am I doing with my life anymore? I feel helpless, always on edge. Am I doomed? I bit my lips. My legs feel numb and shaky. Thank God it happened in my bed, so I didn't bump my head. I don't want to go in and out of hospitals, test EEGs, and I just want someone who feels my pain or something like that. I don't know. Um, how do I cope? Sometimes I make a few jokes every now and then. Sometimes maybe you got to do a few things or find some hobbies. Yeah, like sometimes I paint or do a little arts and crafts, editing videos, stuff like that. Stuff to keep me busy so I don't think about epilepsy so much. I mean, unless you had a seizure that day. Otherwise, coping is okay with me just being by myself, making myself laugh, and so on. How do you guys cope?
Since I'm a musician, I'm a musician, like I would cope by writing songs, and by writing songs and then go on a walk.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I would say that too. Sometimes getting out a little bit, go sit by the pool, stuff like that. Just go out and get some sunlight. Sometimes that feels good. Sitting in the house, it'll mess with you.
Okay, I cope by just chilling out and listening to music and putting one front in front of the other.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said that last time. I like how you said
Yeah,
that. Put
yeah,
one
it
foot in front of the
is.
other. Anyone else wonder why we have to pay ambulance or hospital bills when someone else calls them? A few times I've had seizures in public, and 911 was called, so ambulance, ER, etc. Now I fully understand and appreciate how a random person would call. I would probably call myself, but then again, But then again, now I owe thousands because of what someone else did. Again, I fully understand someone calling, but I wonder about the cost. Like I woke up in the ER knowing I'll have to pay and I have insurance. I'm in no way trying to say that the person who called should be charged or anything involving Good Samaritan. Just think about it all the time in terms of the money. No, I don't wonder because I usually wake up. If someone's not going to take me to the hospital, I'm waking up wherever I'm at, maybe at home or somewhere, or with friends or family. But yeah, I do. I feel that person. Was this person always sending me to the hospital? Luckily, I have health insurance and I can get to the hospital and there and have everything handled with my health insurance. Other than that, yeah, we really don't have choices for Good Samaritans. And hey,
Hey, everybody.
hey, Mark, I got a question for you. How do
Yeah,
you cope?
cope. That's kind of a broad question. Is there any sort of context?
Um, okay, the question was, how do I cope anymore? I don't mean to be like, cry for help. This isn't a hotline. I just feel so lost. I keep getting medicine. I think it's, I keep getting medicine. I think it's getting better. Then bam, seizure. What am I doing with my life anymore? I feel helpless, always on edge. Am I doomed? I bit my lip. My legs feel numb and shaky. Thank God it happened in my bed. So I didn't butt my head. I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out in and out of hospitals, test EEGs. I just don't want someone, I just want someone who feels my pain or something like that. I don't know. How do you cope?
Well, I mean, that very last ending, the wrap up to their question sounds like they should, dial into the Zoom meeting here, you know, meet some people, talk to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Broadly, I think having a hobby um was kind of helpful. I used to be kind of really down and yeah, I guess feeling kind of similar, like I don't have anything to do except wait for the next doctor appointment. Um, so I started gardening and I mean it's relaxing, it's rewarding, it gives me something to get up and check on in the kid, get that. Something to check up on in the morning, in addition to the cats. Um, but I mean, yeah, it's I grow pepper plants. So I've got like a dozen or so, maybe a bit more than a dozen different varieties of peppers that I'm growing right now. Um, Bonsai, I'm turning a couple of them into little bonsai plants. So that's another, kind of third term hobby, something that's not just immediate and, like collecting or something, but taking care of a living thing, I think specifically has been an extra level of rewarding to the hobby. So, um, yeah, find some people who talk to you, like can relate to you to talk to, and um, uh, grow some hot peppers or, find something else. I don't even eat the, like, all the peppers, like the spicy food. I saw like the sensory sensitivities from, the autism spectrum. Sometimes the chewing, it really, the texture of the pepper fruit itself, I can't handle, but like making them into hot sauces, but I can't make enough hot sauce and eat enough hot sauce to keep up with the plants that I'm growing. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Another problem to figure out later, but
You make like homemade hot sauce?
um, yeah, sometimes we don't make it frequently enough to keep up with all the peppers that I grow, though. Last year, I ended up filling um an entire freezer with um just pepper fruit, mostly Scotch bonnets, but like I think there were about 6 or 7 gallon-sized freezer bags absolutely packed full with peppers just frozen in the freezer that I wasn't able to keep up with. Um, Gave them over to a friend. Hopefully he'll be able to use some of them quickly enough. He's growing some peppers of his own though, so he better really like them. I'm gonna have some ghosts coming up for him soon, so yeah.
Hey, Melissa, there was a question is how do you cope?
Ugh. Hold on. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I was on the whole time. How do I cope? Um, well, I go to therapy. That helps. Um, I try to do like keep up with some hobbies. I am learning to crochet, which is really hard to learn a new hobby when it's like a lot of skill involved. So, I feel like I've been really working my brain. I try to exercise when I can. I don't know. That's what I do.
Those things to make you happy. I understand that because, yeah. The next one says, anyone else get them from fast temperature change? So for context, I get semi-regular, probably 4 or 5 a day, absent seizures due to a TBI in my youth. I'm baking cookies at the moment, and I walked from the kitchen where I checked the oven to the living room where there's a good air conditioner, and it caused me to seize. Does anyone else get this similar experience? I don't, but suggestions for this person? It absolutely sucks because you have to. Well, we don't have to cook because most of us don't, but that sucks to be able to not cook because you have to stay from in front of a stove and then you got to go in the living room. And yeah, I understand this person. And yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, that
Anyone
would
else?
luckily I don't like cooking, so it wouldn't be a huge problem for me, but if they live alone, it would be really hard. Like you'd have to cook for yourself.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you think?
I'm having a lot of trouble hearing.
Oh,
So it's probably something, I don't know if it's my earbuds or what, but I'm gonna eat lunch in a few minutes and then I'll take the earbuds out I just want to have them so I can listen more
Gotcha.
until I. But I can barely hear anybody. Uh, I heard Mark makes hot sauce, which is very interesting. Mark, do you have a recipe for that?
I've been working on trying to make a Caribbean style jerk hot sauce. So what I've been working on so far is heavy on the Scotch bonnets, um, smoking them on some allspice wood and cedar planks, and um, yeah, some allspice berries, some Worcestershire sauce. Um, what else? Smoke some ginger on there with the peppers. Um, and there's some cinnamon and some garlic, and uh, toss it all up in a blender, and yeah, toss some wings in it and throw them on the grill.
Thanks a
Nice.
lot. That sounds great. I'll see you guys in a while.
You made it sound so much easier than it probably is.
Yeah, it's basically an entire afternoon, but an entire afternoon over at my friend's house outside. It's a good way to spend a summer day, or I guess late summer, early fall, by the time the plants are fruiting, the fresh peppers off the plants.
Yeah, that makes me want to have a garden now that you say that. Like growing stuff sounds fun.
I've grown in containers, these grow bags, the same sort of like grow bag containers that cannabis growers use indoors, and they work great for peppers. I have them out on a screened-in porch around the pool. So I don't have a whole bunch of space outside, like to plant them into the ground, but they do really well in some containers.
Melissa, you do any gardening? No.
I I have some indoor plants that I try not to kill. And sometimes I'm successful with that, but I don't really garden. We don't have a big yard or anything.
Yeah, I want to start growing something. I was thinking about getting like one of those little plants that don't need too much light.
Yeah.
All right. None of us drive that I know of, but this one says driving as a trigger.
I've
I have not driven any appreciable distances for a few years since my diagnosis. I will make occasional short runs for groceries or Home Depot, etc. My wife does all the highway driving or pulling our camper. She loves to drive, so we're good. Yesterday, I needed to drop off my Jeep for my son to use while visiting. Was a 2 hour trip, which I made it with no issue. No way around this one. At my last visit, my neurologist was generally agreeable to my driving. I've been well controlled for quite a while, with only minimal focal flickers, occasionally in clusters. She explained I should simply pull off the road at first signs, then wait it out, or call for a ride home. Question: I understand the risk of driving if a seizure happens. My question is there anything while driving that might itself be a trigger? Yesterday, I was really paying attention while driving and thought maybe the effect of roadway passing by before me could have caused some reaction, but did not go anywhere. My only issue over these few years as a passenger has been a handful of what's it, deja vu instances, not recognizing a roadway that should have been familiar, then a couple focals while driving through a tunnel with regularly spaced out lights, strobe effect, but nothing like that lately. Anyone with observations to offer? There was this one time I was driving and I was going through the mountains and I was just like, there's like another 15 to 20 minutes through these mountains. So I decided to get out and let my girlfriend at the time drive. And I think that was a good idea because I was a little bit nervous because I was thinking about it as we were coming up to it. It was like, this is going to be like 15-minute drive through the mountains and there won't be any lanes on the side. And just thinking about it on the way had me thinking, okay, let's just get out and let her drive. When I shouldn't have been driving in the first place because I have epilepsy. Um,
That seems weird to me that his neurologist would tell him that it's okay and just pull over to the side of the road. I've had neurologists tell me you shouldn't be driving. One of my neurologists threatened to report me.
mm,
So I don't know why his neurologist would say that, especially if he has focals and he doesn't know when they're going to happen. But at the same time, I understand the need for driving if you live in a place where they don't have good transportation. I would especially feel nervous about a 2-hour drive.
Mark?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. I'm not sure I'm understanding everything they're writing correctly, but it sounds like they're still having these vocals. Um, I mean, it started out with, can you think of anything about driving? It might be triggers. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, how busy is the traffic where he is? I mean, just random road rage from doesn't even need to be him. Somebody else could just get randomly angry, start. I mean, that's stressful as hell. Um, Somebody else could rear end you, and what would have been just a normal, fender bender is stressful. And I mean, if an airbag goes off, that sucks. It's stressful. It smells bad. There's a lot of different like sensory things about that that could be possible seizure triggers. Um, I mean, it's not just about the operating of the vehicle. There's a lot of other what ifs that could be. They said that they were, didn't they say at some point there was something that they had some photosensitive seizures or something like that? I mean, I'm not,
Um,
like something from
uh,
flashing roadway lights or the overhead or
yeah, I think they said
Like a
something about,
tunnel.
go ahead.
I think they said like they were driving in a tunnel and the headlights in there.
Yeah, it said, my only issue over these past few years is a handful of deja vu instances not recognizing a roadway that that should have been familiar, then a couple focals while driving through a tunnel with regularly spaced lights, strobe effect, but nothing like that lately. Yeah, there's a lot of things I just
How
don't suggest
lately?
driving.
That's, I mean, I don't know. If I was this person, I just wouldn't drive. Err on the side of caution as much as it sucks, but it's a lot easier to get daily conveniences here, you know, where I am without having the driver's license. So I don't know. It's
Yeah, I started ordering online grocery and they can deliver it to me. It's a little bit more expensive, but I don't have to drive, so they'll
Yeah,
give me a grocery, like $200 worth of groceries and they'll deliver it.
I use Instacart, so yeah, I can do that. Get food from fast food restaurants. So there's that. Um, yeah, I don't drive anymore, so that I do. I order stuff a lot. I pretty much order everything.
Yeah.
I think the last time I've been to the store before yesterday was like it was a while back because, like I said, I order everything. Then you get these little discounts and stuff when you use Instacart. So there's that also. You spend so much percentage off and stuff. And yeah, and they give me money when they're late. So there's that also. Jason, you there? Rachel, you there? Anybody there?
I'm here.
All right.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. It says life preserver. Anything makes swimming safe. Hello and happy Tuesday. As I passed a lake while on the bus, as I can't drive, I thought how pretty that lake is. Is it a beach, a pier, a swimming area? And I can't even go within 10 feet of any of it. My first, second, and third thought is never bother again. But I swam in pools, lakes, beaches, etc. all my life and enjoy near water and whatnot. So is anything safe about swimming? Not for an epileptic, because anything can happen. Once you have a seizure in the water, I'm not gonna say it's over for sure, but yeah, a life jacket might help. But I don't know. It's gonna be hard for someone to get to you while you're flailing in the water. And um, anyone suggest swimming? Any of you guys still swim?
I'm a swim instructor. That's my
Yeah.
business.
Oh,
I teach swim, adults, right? Yeah,
nice.
so yeah, a little flip the switch there. I've had to stop doing that for a while, but I just had surgery, right, a couple weeks ago, hoping to mitigate those nasty things that we all have. So great question. It goes kind of back to Pookie, that, you know, what do you give up? What do you not give up when you have epilepsy? Do you give up driving? Do you give up skydiving? What do you give up? Swimming is a mental and physical outlet for me, especially for a lot of people too. So it's a really hard thing to give up. Absolutely. PFDs are important personal flotation devices. Those can save you, right? They save anybody. And it's very important to wear those if you have seizures. Also bright colored swimsuits. So like a neon green. So you're well to be spotted. Also, if you are tell people, especially if you're in a public pool, go tell the lifeguard, hey, I have epilepsy, I have seizures. So then they can spot you out even a little bit more. Some PFDs, you can pull something. So I actually wear one. I carry one when I'm in the pool teaching. So if I start to feel something, I'm going to pull that. But I also don't teach. I don't swim when something feels off. I will not do that. I don't think people should have to give up things. I mean, the same thing as a shower, a bath. My first seizure, my neurologist said, don't swim, don't take baths, and don't lift weights. Those are all three things that I love. So, you kind of work your way around those things, I think. I don't think you should have to give up everything that you love, including swimming, because it's a spiritual, it's a mental, it's everything. But yeah, PFDs, bright swimsuits, communicate, tell, carry a whistle, be loud. If
Yeah.
something's going down, not you, hopefully though, it's going down. No jokes. That was not a joke.
You ever like seen a seizure in the water, or you ever have a seizure in the water?
No,
You ever had a seizure at work?
no.
Oh, good. I've had a seizure at every job I've been having,
Mm.
so just stop having to work.
Yeah, I hear you. I've had to pause for a while too. So I'm going back though soon. Waiting for seeing my neurosurgeon this week to release me, get my staples out. But yeah, I'm hoping and praying that I go back because it's something everybody needs to learn how to do. And just because I have a disability doesn't mean that I should stop doing what I love doing and helping people.
Right.
So I encourage people. I mean, I'm not saying go out and swim, but I'm saying do what you can to help yourself in those instances.
Yeah, you can do everything with precautions, of course.
Right.
And maybe if that person doesn't feel comfortable, they could sit on the beach, like on the side and stick their legs in, or sit on, like, some pools have stairs where you walk in, they just sit on the stairs and they're still like near the water, but like not in it if they don't feel comfortable.
I put my
Yeah.
feet in every now and then.
Yeah. I live at
But
the beach, so I could just go sit on the side or stick my legs in up to my, my knees or whatever.
you said you live at the beach?
Well, I'm in Florida, so yeah.
Beaches everywhere.
I'm in Florida too.
Hey, I'm
So
in
it's
Florida
just
as well.
There's
Uh,
gonna be a rocket going up this afternoon, I think, and hold on, let me check it's scheduled for about 5 o'clock.
is it loud?
Where it goes off, it's pretty loud. Where I'm at, like north of Orlando. And you can still actually hear it all the way over as far as Orlando. It's kind of quiet. You got to listen for it and hope that there aren't planes going overhead. But there's like a deep rumble. But right about a minute after the launch, it appears up over the tree line at the horizon. And the coolest thing is the Falcon 9s when they go up around dusk at sunset, when it's late enough that the sun has gone down over at the Cape and it's like setting over near where I'm at. And the rocket will go up into like past that um sunset shadow line. So it's all like the dark, or in the dark part you can see the flame trail, and then when it gets up further, the rocket itself is illuminated. You can see the white rocket, which is, I mean, essentially a tower flying up. So but then at the stage separation, they fire all the control thrusters to maneuver it around. And when they do those around that time and land the booster back at Cape Canaveral, you can see it doing like the twist, the flip over, and firing all um, yeah, they get lit up. It's pretty crazy how big those you know, they're not rocket engines, but it's hard to or it's easy to forget how big that push is that they give. But yeah, 1 hour and 11 minutes. It's gonna go up. It's gonna
Nice. I
go up.
never seen one.
Yeah.
There's a place out here that they closed, and they said they won't do it anymore there. But I never got to see one. Besides the
The
internet.
Vandenberg Space Force Base over there in California.
Never seen it. I think they have. There's a place. There's a NASA at it's like an army base, I think.
Yeah, Vandenberg.
Yeah.
Vandenberg Space Force Base. They launch SpaceX launches rockets from over there. But you should look up the visibility chart because the further up the rocket goes, the further away it can be seen. So if you're anywhere kind of within the general vicinity, like if you look at a map of the Florida Peninsula, um, like they've got circles further and further around that show, 30 seconds after launch, you can see it above the horizon here. 1 minute after the launch, you can see it here. 2 minutes after the launch. And some of the bigger rockets, like the Falcon Heavies that go and put the rockets all the way up into like a geostationary orbit, like the GPS satellites. Those can be visible all the way up as far as New York, as like,
Wow.
at night, like a little dot of little kind of flame colored, kerosene flame colored dot in the night sky. So, yeah, check those maps, or I could, hold on, let me see. I might be able to find them, drop it in the chat. But you might be within an area that you could see a rocket if you're anywhere kind of around that base over in California.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, where I'm staying at, I don't stay near it, but I know where it is. Jeff, you got something?
Yeah, the rockets that go up from SpaceX, when I'm in the desert, I see them as soon as they clear the tree line. I see them going up and coming down. And
Nice.
if you're into that stuff, it's fascinating. I love those launches, and they're really great to watch. And the ones coming down are, for an old guy like me who remembers the moon launch, the ones coming down are just crazy that they could do that, with such precision.
Yeah, I
It's
seen a video with Elon Musk, like his just like goes down and it props itself back up. I seen that one. It was on the internet, but yeah, that was cool. Like, why do they do so many launches? What's up there that they need to launch for? Are they taking food to somebody or something?
Here's the thing. They launched a lot for the during the fires for Starlink, extra Starlink satellites for the phones. But every launch they make, they can take a tax deduction for research and development of every rocket that they produce. So it's not costing them anything. And for each one, they learned something.
They're
Okay,
they're looking to lease a new location here in Florida to go from 60 launches a year to 120 next year. So that's like one every 3 days. That's nuts. They want to build a new landing pad to land them back here. I mean, the sonic booms are they're pretty cool, but that often, that might get a little obnoxious for people living out close enough to hear it, you know. Ba-bum, ba-bum.
If you're that close, yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
will
my
get
sister is
obnoxious.
that close, and my family wants to move out and be over near my sister. So I don't know. I might be moving over, living that close in the future. So we'll see. I like rockets, and if I'm that close, that means it's that much more likely that I could go and get like a front row seat for one of the big ones. They
Yeah,
want to launch the Starship, the Super Heavy here from here in Cape Canaveral too. So that will be really cool if they build the chopstick catchy tower thing for the landings and stuff, and they stop blowing things up.
Yeah, that is. I was never so much interested in rockets until you said that. Like, I want to see one, like with my own eyes. I was gonna Google it, but that's nothing like what you're talking about. Like, if you can get a video, that would be dope. Um, you ever made a video or took a picture?
Oh.
I imagine people thinking like, "What is that?" Like people who aren't near it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little from as far as I am, it's like a little. It's not a speck of light. You can see it's elongated. And you
Mm,
can see that the length of the fire trail is about the same length as the rocket itself,
mm.
which is pretty pretty damn impressive. But the um, it leaves a smoke trail behind it also. So whenever it goes up, you see that, and then you see the smoke trail. So I think that, since that persists so much longer after the rocket, that probably gets more people wondering, what the heck is that if they're not paying attention? Because the rocket launch itself is only about um, 3 to 5 minutes that it's visible from here.
I have a
I
bunch
still
of
haven't found the
pictures
map
of
of
those.
the visibility. Sorry to interrupt.
Go
I,
ahead, Jeff.
I think I was interrupting you. I have a bunch of pictures of them going up, and I think one or two coming down. It's they're interesting.
Yeah, you guys make me want to Google it because how
Okay,
interesting you make it sound. Um, is anyone here on Vimpat or Adderall?
I am on Vimpat. I used to be on Adderall, but I had to stop as soon as the seizures were documented.
Okay,
Is
I'm on
there?
the cosamide. That's the same as Vimpet, isn't it?
I think so.
Yes. Yeah. I guess I should say I'm on lacosamide, the generic. I'm not on the name brand, but Vimpat, yeah, same thing.
Okay, there's something here. It says, "Does anyone take generic Vimpat or Adderall?" I'm just wondering because I am epileptic and I take Vimpat 150 milligrams twice a day, but I have recently taken Adderall for my ADHD and it helped me so much. It went from nonstop chatter to focus and clarity with energy, and my work ethic skyrocketed, but I am afraid because I want to be safe. So here's the backstory. When I was 14, I was hit by a car and I suffered traumatic brain injury, scarring the left lobe of my brain. From 14 to 18. I was prescribed Adderall for ADHD. I didn't really take it often back then and never really have since. Anyway, fast forward to age 24. I had my seizure throughout the years. Oh, fast forward to 24 years, age 24, I had my first seizure. Throughout the years, I have had multiple seizures and some pretty bad ones, but that was all going on when I was smoking weed and drinking alcohol often. Now I'm sober and I have been seizure free for over 2 years. I just turned 30. I still take Vimpat almost every day, but now I'm not stressed, anxious, or depressed. I got myself out of that mindset along with becoming sober from drinking and smoking. Anyway, fast forward to a few days ago. I took an Adderall, 30 milligrams, extended release, and it was like night and day. Everything became I felt normal. I felt cleared. I no longer felt a million thoughts racing through my mind constantly. I felt peace. So my question is, do any of you safely take your medication for seizures and also take Adderall safely under a doctor's supervision? How does that work? Hey, Kevin.
How's it going? How's everyone doing?
You take Vimpat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot which one you were taking, but yeah. This last one was about someone who took Vimpat, and yeah.
I think the neurologist would know. I mean, that's a common combination. I think people with epilepsy are more likely to have ADHDs from what I read. And 'cause sometimes I question if I have ADHD or I don't know. But I've read that some people are able to take stimulant ADHD drugs, but maybe some people can and some people can't. I mean, it's like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was taken off of the Adderall, excuse me, the Adderall after the diagnosis, and the prescriber said he refuses to reissue that Adderall prescription unless he gets a letter okaying it from, my epileptologist. And I've yet to get that letter. I don't know. I know the risks. I don't know if I kind of would accept them or not, because without the Adderall, I'm really like, it adds an extra level of uselessness to the epilepsy med fog. But there have been non-stimulant ADHD meds offered. I think Strattera was one of them. I had been on Strattera a long time ago before the epilepsy, so I haven't tried it in combination with the glucosamide. But um, that was one, and that might be an option to discuss. That might be easier to um, convince your doctors to test out. Pookie, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I started talking and reading. So I got one here. It says, how many hours of sleep do you get a night? I genuinely cannot believe it. I went to my doctor today and they asked me how much hours of sleep I get. I only get between 3 to 7 hours. 7 if I'm really lucky, though. It's very hard for me to stay asleep, not fall asleep. And he said, with my condition and how my epilepsy is, I should be getting at least 7 to 9 a night. I couldn't believe it. LOL. Like that's not gonna happen. So how many hours do you guys get a night? And how are you supposed how many hours do you get a night and how many are you supposed to be getting? My doctor didn't set a specific time. He just said get some rest. I didn't really like he said his doctor told him 7 to 9. Yeah, I just take it upon myself. Like, you need to get some rest when I need to, I guess. When I feel like I need rest, I get rest. Which is often nap time, most of the time, nap a lot. Especially when I'm not doing anything, sitting too long or doing nothing. I get ready to take a nap.
Well, I guess I would say how much sleep depends on how I plan my day out. Like I said, everything depends on. I always talk about my routine, and if I eat dinner around 10 or 11, take my medicine at midnight, and I fall asleep sometime a little after that. Um, uh, no liquids after midnight, so I don't have to wake up and go to the bathroom. I can get in a good 8 hours plus, actually, with a good routine. But if that's all screwed up, you know, I'll have to wake up and, you know, I only get 5 hours, and I can't survive without, under 7 or 8 hours. So that means I'll have to take another nap during the day, and it gets all messed up. And so I have to get 8 hours of sleep during the day in chunks or whatever. So
Jason, Melissa, how much sleep do you guys need?
I typically sleep about 9 hours. That's my average. Sometimes less, sometimes more, but I'm pretty strict about my bedtime. I like go to bed approximately the same time every day. And I was working at the school where my kids work, and so I had to get up really early. And I was having a lot more seizures. I think there's other reasons why, but I think because I was having to wake up so early was one of the factors. So I'm gonna have to quit my job for next school year. Um, but yeah, if I don't get my sleep, then I'm 100% off like the whole day, and I have to take a nap. And I think the only reason why I stay asleep is because all my medication makes me sleep. But I've also been taking magnesium at night, and that helps you sleep well too.
What does magnesium do other than to help with sleep?
Uh, I don't know. It does a lot of things. I don't know off the top of my head.
I gotta look it up. Jason, how many hours of sleep do you need? On average, I sleep, since I have insomnia, I try to get like 10, maybe more. Yeah.
For me, I would have to get like at least like 8 hours of sleep because like I have to get 8 hours of sleep because like for me like my sleep schedule would be like completely like on and off, and like, and people be want me to, and my people be wanting me to party and stuff like that, but I don't really have time for all that because like due to the seizures and stuff like that. So like I would get like 8 hours of sleep, but like normally for but like normal for me, like lately, like my sleeping schedule would get I would get like 5 to 6 hours of sleep. And like I would say it's pretty bad, but like I would say it's pretty bad for like when I try to sleep like for 5 hours. But but on the average, I would at least get like 8 hours of sleep because because like, my brain can't really function that well if I don't get like 8 hours of sleep.
Jeff, how about you? How much sleep do you need on average?
Sleep? Is that like I remember sleep. I get like 4 to 6 hours, I guess.
Mm.
But I'm up, up and down constantly. So Of the 6 hours, maybe I sleep 4.5. I haven't slept in years.
Oh, wow.
There. It's just the way it is. I mean, I have a lot of back pain and other pains, so I just don't sleep. Ex- Except when I'm in the desert, I sleep pretty well. But I never get eight. I mean, I haven't gotten 8 hours since I was a kid.
I make sure I get 8 to 10.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, my dad, he's always like, sleep the day away. You can't sleep 13 hours a day because I guess he thinks when I take my night dose at 10, then I go right to sleep, which is not ever happened. It's when he goes to sleep. It says, has anyone had an adult onset laughing seizures? I was only getting simple partial seizures, but in the last month or so, I think they've changed, and now I believe I'm getting gelastic laughing seizures daily. I read that these are most common in children, and I can't find a whole lot about them starting in adulthood. I don't laugh loudly, it's just kind of quiet giggling, but it happens multiple times a day and involuntary, and honestly freaks me out. I even do it while falling asleep and waking up. Has anyone had these start in adulthood? One in the comments says, I'm nearly 20, and sometimes I'll have randomly giggle laugh without knowing why. And someone else said, I'm 22 and I've had a couple of these in the past few months. They kind of came out of nowhere, but mine were constant, intense laughter until I passed out alongside other seizure movements rather than small bursts. I've heard about the laughing ones, but I never experienced it. And I think my stepsister does that. She has the laughing ones, and then everybody's like, oh, well, she's going to have a seizure, you guys.
I'd never heard of that before, so
Never?
it's new to me, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, but nothing surprises me at this point, you know? So,
Yeah, it says gelastic seizures. So there's so many different kinds. I guess when I smoke, I get giggly, but that's different. Yeah, those seizures, I'm usually laughing with someone. Um, Someone said trigger and seizure days apart. Has anyone experienced where seizures start when the body begins to come down from its flight mode? I've noticed when tracking my son's seizures that the only substantial event took place 2 or 3 days before the onset of his grand mal seizures. Example, his birthday is on the 21st. Once all the excitement dies down, then the seizure hits on the 23rd. Christmas happens, seizure always on the 26th. Now I'm finding he's making it through exams finally, but seizure happens 3 days after he finishes when he finally begins to relax. I brought this up with neurologist, and she writes down the dates and events and says, makes sense, but I keep forgetting to ask about if it delays seizures are a thing. I'd say yes because, uh, well, I've had a seizure and then like went somewhere and then had a TC. So I don't know if that's delayed. I just kind of have a weird vibe and then I'm going off wandering places and then I have a TC. Um, Not days apart though. I've never felt them days apart. I've had the postical headache for a whole 24 hours, but it never led to an actual TC or nothing that I can remember. Ladies and gentlemen.
I can't think of that happening to me, but I mean, sometimes it feels like my seizure comes out of nowhere, and I don't remember things well, so I don't know if something happened 3 days before that is affecting me that day, because I easily forget what I did yesterday, so
Yeah, I forgot yesterday too. So okay. It says constant aura with no seizure. So a few years ago, I developed absent seizures. It was a bad for a period of time, but I haven't had one in a while, up until the past week. I basically am in a constant state of having that feeling that I'm going to seize, but nothing happens. I don't know if I should be worried or not. Has this happened to anyone, and any advice? Um, I've heard this question asked before, aura with no seizure, but the aura is a seizure. So, um, yeah, if the aura is a seizure, um, they say aura with no seizure. You guys get those?
I mean, like you said, aura with no seizure. If aura is a seizure, then there is no such thing as aura without a seizure. It's all just seizure, right? Just a different type.
Okay. Um, oh my. So it's something else here. It says strange eye movement. A forward of warning. It's a long post, and I'm non-native speaker. Some background. I suffered my first seizure when I was about 21 years old, shortly after I was diagnosed with gray matter heritopia as likely cause. I've gone through 2 or 3 more episodes in following 4 years and got my medication kind of locked in, but then seizures were medication kind of, oh, then seizures were replaced by nystagmus, eye moving side to side, uncontrollable for several minutes. Combined with dizziness, strangely, it wakes me up almost every time I lie down for a short nap. Napping is quite common for me as my body reacts strongly to atmospheric pressure changes. From my observation, seizures might be connected to my blood pressure, as I suffered a seizure in a hot bath after a stressful day. I am not triggered by light or hyperventilation. I like to know if anyone had their seizures replaced by tics or eye twitching, as in my case. Neurologist pointed me to consult my optician, eye doctor, who in turn said it shouldn't be connected to seizures in any way. Feel free to ask anything, but has anyone experienced this? The eye twitching, I have got it. I didn't know it was anything until coming here. I didn't know it was a thing. I thought the eye twitching was just maybe a headache or a precursor or something, just something bad. And yeah, I went to see what's it called? The eye doctor, and they also said I have what's it called? Glaucoma in my right eye. Kevin, you look like you had something to say.
Actually blind in my left eye,
Whoa.
but it's not from seizures. It's from something else. Like I got kicked in the left eye.
Ooh.
Long story. Um, but the eye twitching, I think I might. It's hard because I don't know if I'm doing it, but I think I've been told uh, I blink a lot, but um, yeah, it's hard because all these little things we do, we don't notice them, but other people do. I think I think my mom might have told me that I do a lot of things before seizures that she picks up on, and I think yeah, eye twitching might be one of them. So, yeah, it's
This one might be specifically for you, Kevin, because I heard you tell me you take these. So it says, I'd like to hear from people who have switched from Keppra to Depakote. JME currently on 1,000 milligrams twice daily of Keppra, up from 750 because after a fairly long seizure-free streak, I had another recently after not sleeping enough or taking my meds too late or something. I've had to switch neuros a few times after my main dumped me and my insurance has changed and I just didn't like some of them. So I've heard conflicting. They had a D instead of an F. I've heard conflicting opinions. I tried a switch to Depakote before a while ago to try to reduce mood issues. Not sure if it was Keppra or just life calls. And I stopped the switch because Depakote made me extra pingy. How do I feel before seizures? But my new neuro really recommended it because I also have gotten ADHD that I don't medicate for anymore, but has gotten a lot worse since taking Keppra. And so I'm having a hard time sleeping, which says Depakote will help with. Has anyone switched from Keppra to Depakote?
yeah. I was talking again with bringing up my mom again about all the drugs I've been on, and I've only actually been on 4 or 5 drugs my entire life. And Keppra, I went from Depakote to Keppra, and I had a horrible reaction with Keppra. But that was 2008, and I was not. The seizures were really bad, and uh, and I did not have a good neurologist then. And so what he did was he took me off Depakote. I was just on one medicine, and this neurologist was giving me sample packets of. He wasn't giving me a prescription. He was just giving me packets of Keppra, and just saying, just take a few of these a day. And so it wasn't like he was not a very good doctor. Um, so I was just taking whatever, like 3, 4 pills a day. I had no idea how much I was taking. So, and I just went on a tear for ages. And so I had to come off that. So I went on Depakote, and to control my myoclonic seizures, I went on Pyramid. Um, so that really helped with the seizures. Um, I've been on Depakote most of my life, uh, and recently I added clobazam. So I would say it's very effective, but there are side effects that you have to be aware of, such as if you have difficulty concentrating, uh, Depakote will make that worse.
Okay. Good. Something here. It says, how long to mentally feel normal again after a seizure? It's been 2 weeks since my last set of focal seizures, and I still don't feel like myself. WTF? This happened to anyone else? Usually I'm back within a day or two. Um, yeah, the mentally normal thing, it's happened to me. It's taken like a day, but never a day or two or a week or anything like that. Um, there's just that little foggy like the day after to still remind me that, you just had a seizure. There's that part that sticks around. So Anyone?
I would say, yeah, give or take 24 hours, 24, maybe 36, but yeah, that sounds about right.
I had one not too long ago, but I only have tonic-clonics. And I fell over and I think I may have gotten a concussion and I didn't get it checked out. But it took me a week, at least a week to get over that one. That was a bad one though. And I may have had a concussion, so that could have added to it, but I don't know. Did they mention what type of seizure?
No, they didn't.
So it depends on what kind of seizure they had and if they were injured or I don't know. Or
Yeah,
maybe
and
they're
actually,
maybe
go
they're
ahead.
having multiples and they don't realize they're having multiple seizures. I don't know.
Okay. Got one. It says, did anybody dislocate their shoulder during a seizure? I've heard people say this before. I had my first epileptic seizure this past Saturday, seeing a neurologist tomorrow to see what can be done. I'm already taking Keppra since Tuesday. Unfortunately, I dislocated my right shoulder during a seizure. Posterior dislocation. I had assumed it came from a fall and me landing on my arm, but after doing some research, it dawned on me that it was actually from my shoulder muscles tensing up. Just goes to show how much force is involved during a seizure. So yeah, I actually dislocated my shoulder just using the force of my muscles. Has this happened to anyone else? Yeah, but the people who explained it to me, I don't think they said anything about like falling or anything. Yeah, they haven't. They didn't really explain it, but I've heard people say that their seizures they've woke up with um, shoulder out of place and stuff. You're on mute, Melissa.
I was talking to my son.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Anyone advice for this person? Just get some few words of encouragement.
I guess M would say get a nanny cam, you know, but if you want to know more about your seizures, um, but let's see, encouragement. Just be careful before your seizures. Yeah, listen to your body, your auras, and let's get to a safe place forward. And because you don't want to take a nasty spill or anything. Try to, you know, sit down or something, lay down. That's um, the only advice I can give. You know, just watch out for yourself. Listen to your body.
Okay. I got something else here. It says, please help. I was in a relationship. I ended up in the hospital because of a really bad seizure. He told me it was my fault and I was trying to ruin his fun. We broke up. I just want to feel love. I feel like I'll never find love or someone who can put up with my seizures. I constantly feel like a burden to others. I know I'm only 22. I feel like I will never find love and the unconditional support I crave so bad. Um, uh, person asks for support. I leave people. If you can't deal with it, then I'm not gonna stick around and just wait for you to leave me. Um,
I can't believe that person said you ruined my fun. That's really big red flag and BS and run far away from that person because that's ridiculous. My husband does get irritated with me sometimes, like if I forgot to take my medicine, but he would drop everything and take care of me, even if he's like irritated, because he gets irritated because he wants me to be safe, not because he's actually mad at me as a person. But he'll drive me, take me to hospital, he'll tell me to sit down, sit down, sit down. He will take the day off work if he feels like he needs to. Even if he's not feeling excited about doing all that stuff, he just does it without question. Like the other day, I got up and before him and I made like some kind of weird sound. He didn't like it. And the next thing I know, he was jumping out of bed and he was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And he's like, it's ingrained in him to like take care of me and to be there for me, you know? So and when we first got together, he was like, "I didn't know really how I felt about, being with somebody with epilepsy, but I don't know, we just figured it out." I mean, we've been married 16 years. So,
Oh, nice.
I
So just
mean, it's might be hard to find somebody, harder, but I don't doubt that they can find somebody.
did you have epilepsy before your relationship?
Yeah, I got epilepsy in 2007 and we got married in 2009. So when we started dating, um, yeah, I already had it. But at first it wasn't that bad. I'd have a seizure like once a year or something, and it was usually because I forgot my medicine or I was drinking too much. But now I don't drink anymore and I'm a lot better at taking my medicine. So right now it's just hormones and it's something I can't help really. So he doesn't really get upset like he used to get mad at me because I can control drinking and I can control taking my medicine. But yeah, I already had epilepsy.
I think this person's better off without that guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Sounds like it. Yeah. And, God, you're only 22. I know we don't like to bring up age a lot, but God, you got so much time to
Yeah.
find a person of quality. You know, you'll be fine. You
Yeah, I
know,
was 30 when we got married, so there's plenty of time.
I was 37.
You guys are lucky. You guys have long relationships. Yeah, I've had a relationship that lasted 9 years, but I don't think I even had epilepsy in high school. So actually, I did, but okay, yeah, everything's coming back to me as soon as I say things.
Yeah.
Hi, Lufa. Oh, she came and left.
Yeah.
Um, so, I'm sorry, I wasn't ready, you guys. Another one says the guy I'm dating says I'm overreacting about my epilepsy. Oh man. So I started dating a guy and apparently he thinks I talk too much about my epilepsy and that I'm overreacting. My epilepsy is under control right now and it's been for a few years. I don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, and don't drink caffeine because I don't want to trigger a seizure. But even if I have my seizures under control, I always feel I have the sword of Damocles over my head, and that at any moment my meds could stop working and I could have a seizure. I'm not constantly thinking about it, but it's a looming feeling that's always in the background, even if seizures are under control. I don't feel I'm completely normal besides the med side effect, and sometimes I think that I could have died last time. I've had a lot of seizures, one after the other that doctors couldn't stop. If I had been home alone, he doesn't seem to grasp the severity of TCs or how scary focals could be. I'm starting to doubt myself and thinking maybe I am exaggerating, and I should just loosen up, be happy with my seizures, be happy that my seizures are under control, and just live my life. What do you think? With epilepsy, I leave situations where I don't feel comfortable, and if you're not comfortable with my epilepsy, I had to go because there could be situations where I could really hurt myself, and if you just don't like my seizures and you don't want to be around it, I got a feeling for people want to walk away when you're doing stuff. It just sounds horrible, but yeah, I'm
If
not.
they can't accept things that scare you or frighten you, I mean, they aren't accepting of who you are. And if they can't accept all of you, then you shouldn't be with them. I don't know. Epilepsy is a big deal. And sometimes I talk about it a lot, and other times I don't. And I just can't imagine having a partner who just can't, who would tell me to be quiet about it. You know what I mean? Like, stop talking about it. It just, that's not a good person. In my view.
Yeah.
Hi, Tom.
Tom. Hey, Tom, I got a question. How do you cope?
What?
How do you cope
With what?
with epilepsy?
Oh. It's life.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. How do I cope?
Oh my. A lot of these support ones are mainly relationship wise. This one says spouses weaponize my incompetence. My husband has a deliberate incompetence towards my medical needs. If I need meds picked up, he will forget which ones and how much, and have to call me even though they've been the same meds for years. If I have a seizure, he will walk away and wait for it to be over. And if others ask if I need assistance, he'll say no, it'll stop soon. If I seize in the middle of the night, he gets up and leaves the room. And then the next day, I normally get in trouble for disturbing his sleep and making him tired from work. Or if I seize during the day, I'm possible when he gets home. And if I tell him I would like some affection, he will fall asleep in the bed next to me, watching a movie or something, but not comfort me in any meaningful way. We go to the medical appointments and they ask him what my seizures look like, and he doesn't know. I can't drive, and he takes me to my appointments, but he always running late or got caught in traffic or held up at work. I'll ask for practical things like ice pack or heat pack or a drink if I'm caught in bed, and he'll forget or say, yeah, coming. And then half an hour or longer will go by while he plays video games or watches TV. He'll leave for work without checking on me and has left me incredibly ill after a full night of seizures that he knew about. And then when he gets home the next evening and I'm still in a bad way and he hasn't checked in 24 hours, he always gaslighting me, telling me I'm reading too much into it and he's just tired. But it is like I don't exist. He's a very selfish man in his personal life, and he's never been selfish with me until I got sick. Of course, we were already married by then, but I just want to know if I need him or need someone that I have his support, that he won't just leave me seizing one day because he's running late for work and assumes I'll stop, and then doesn't check in, and that'll be our last moments together. It's like living alone, except I'm supposed to not be alone. I meant to be with my husband. The for better or worse, death do us part, love of my life guy, and he simply doesn't care or doesn't want to care or something. Opinions, ladies and gentlemen? That
Leave.
sucks.
Just leave.
Just run away.
Also, I wonder if she's had a direct conversation instead of just like, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that, but be direct and upfront about all of it in one conversation and see how he responds. And then if he's still like if he's still dismissive or whatever, then I mean I might start to think about leaving. And who knows how long have they been together? To
It didn't say.
I mean, especially if it's only been a couple years, then what's the point? I don't know. Your spouse should value you.
Yeah, you're the only female here to give us that advice. You guys have advice for this woman?
You heard mine. I mean, who wants to live with somebody that doesn't love you
Yeah.
and that would treat you that way?
Right. I was just saying that, like a person who I'd leave a person who I think might leave me, and then the next post is someone who left this person alone during that time.
Yeah, and it's not safe if he's just totally leaving when she's having a seizure and he isn't able to explain to the doctor what her seizures look like. That doesn't sound like a safe thing. Like,
It sounds like living alone.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
especially because
worse
he
than living
tells.
alone.
Say that again?
It's worse than living alone.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah. But yeah, like the part about her saying that he tells other people she'll be okay, give her a minute. That's crazy. Like I've never even heard that like from any of my family. I wouldn't say everyone's the best supporters, but I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, just give him a second." The next one says, "How do you guys live like this? I don't know how I'm supposed to live my whole life as an epileptic. My mom told me year after year when I was young I would grow out of it. I'm 22 and still have them. Every single day revolves around taking my medication with food, or I'll get violently ill for 12 hours. It's the worst thing ever. How am I supposed to go on my whole life never being able to get anywhere? And to make matters worse, my boyfriend keeps making excuses and he won't get his license. He works too much. Nobody will teach him. He's too scared, blah, blah, blah. It just upsets me so much because he has the privilege of being able to drive and I don't. He has the ability to finally let me feel like I have some sort of control. I'm just so angry right now. How am I ever going to live my life if I will never be able to be independent? I feel like death is less of a punishment than living in society where transportation is a must. How do you live like this? It took some time. I always tell people it takes time. I've been dealing with this for 20 years, so it gets better with time. This person is 22, so you're in the fun part of your life, just able to drink and all that, and then and then you can't drive. I know how I can't drive be, but it's just like time. You get better with time. Some things you just get used to. Oh, hey, Lufa. Um, you got anything?
I don't know. The only thing I could say for me is it took a while for me to adjust but I was like in my 20s when I got it. But maybe she's having a hard time adjusting, or I don't know if it's a girl, but adjusting to the taking care, managing it as an adult on her own. Like maybe her mom was taking care of everything, and now that she has to take care of it herself or themselves, it's like a big shock. I think you just adjust to it.
What? Got something here else. It says, ever been accused of faking your seizures? Personally, I think maybe once, or maybe told I was overreacting a little bit, but um, never really thrown out there like, oh, you're a fake or whatever the case. But I've been told maybe like a little overreacting. It says today, my neurology appointment, my neurologist asked me if I'm making myself have a partial seizure by thinking of one and then causing it, or if I'm having panic attacks and calling them seizures instead. All of this, all of this started because I had a grand mal seizure and found out in the hospital the episodes I was having daily, 6 times a day prior to grand mal, were partial seizures. All of my EEGs, MRIs, and blood tests have been healthy and normal. And during my appointment, I began to cry because he wasn't listening to me. He then asked if it's panic attacks I'm thinking or seizures. Have y'all experienced this? After he walked away, I broke down crying and had to be escorted into a room to calm down. I'm just feeling so lost. He said, well, you don't have cancer, so it's not as bad as it could be. I'm aware, I'm thankful, but I still miss my old life. I feel miserable. Yeah, personally, I haven't been accused, but you guys got something to say for this person? This was recent, so they might see it.
I can't believe a doctor would say, at least it's not cancer. That was like a shocking thing to me because I don't know. If a doctor started speaking to me like that, I would be looking for a new doctor. It's
Cancer
hard
can
enough
be
to deal with
cured.
it.
Epilepsy can't. That's
Well, the doctor actually did say that to me when I was younger at 12. He said something
Yeah, well,
similar. He said it could be epilepsy, it could be cancer. We'll see.
Wow. Cancer can cause seizures?
Well, I had um, my first seizure, and like what they said, I think you come back for the what is it, the brain scan, and he said, well, it could be a tumor. We'll see. See you later. Bye. I was like, what? Okay. And
Yeah.
I feel like he was very nonchalant about it.
Okay.
But, but as far as the person's question goes, um, what was the person's questions? I want to address that because I want to leave him hanging.
Basically, have you ever been accused of faking seizures?
Oh, maybe once in college. I think I mentioned that I had myoclonic seizures and my leg would kick, and I told the person I was told my teacher I was having seizures, and the student I wasn't kicking their chair. I was just my leg was jerking, and it's like that's not a seizure. I'm like, yes, it is. I okay. Well,
I've also been accused of faking the myoclonic seizures. Also, sorry, I'm like at the pool, but I'm hot and sweaty. Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, remember that day? Oh my goodness.
I just for the it took until I had a seizure for my myoclonic seizures to actually and my epilepsy to actually get acknowledged to have like not an actual seizure but like a tonic-clonic seizure in order to finally have recognition brought to my diagnosis. So unfortunately I think it just takes some really big steps. Like for me, it was having the seizure in the neurologist's office. So
Um,
But definitely
Yes,
ask for a different doctor because that's like a kind of a crazy comparison to be bringing out and stuff.
right. Ooh, that one's pretty long. My cry for help says, my cry for help, 23-year-old male. I am completely broken down and so upset. Each and every day, I feel so bad and let down by the change this has made on my life. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with epilepsy from a breakthrough grand mal seizure. I hid for such a long time from even my family and my friends. I eventually went to the doctors and have been on Depakote since. I have thankfully only had one breakthrough grand mal seizure since while being switched from Depakote to Keppra this last summer. After that, up until now, the doctors have decided to keep me on Depakote. Overall, I'm thankful and I am so grateful that I do not have it worse, but I feel like every day nothing has changed. I still feel this feeling, like weird feeling every single day. I'm not sure how to describe it. Like describe it like a weak feeling in my body or something of that nature that makes me feel jittery, anxious when I wake up or when I'm tired, or even if I'm not tired, the medicine makes me tired and makes me feel the feeling. My triggers are sleep deprivation, and strenuous activity. I recently found out that Depakote is not keeping me seizure free, and I'm having absence seizures, which is what I had when I was younger, which I eventually grew out of. I don't know. I'm just worried and scared that I won't be able to work, and I'm scared that I won't be able to pursue the career in sales I dreamed of. I'm sorry. Pursue the sales I dreamed of. I am so heartbroken. They have recently decided to try me back on ethosuximide, which is what I took as a child, which helped extremely. So right now I am taking that and Depakote and going to the EEG soon to see if that helped. But I still feel weird. I don't feel right. I just need some assurance. I need someone to just give me some advice or anything really. I don't know what routes there are. And I know they said if ethosuximide doesn't work, they are going to try me on Keppra again because last time the dosage was way too low. Please, if you're reading this or come across this, give me some help. You guys heard that? Your turn.
I mean, it sounds like they're just starting to get like settled into their life with epilepsy. I mean, it's more of a process, like a oh kitty cat. It's more of a waiting game almost, like a it's kind of a game you have to play. I don't know how to describe it, but I guess as someone who's 20, like it's it's hard to accept that you're disabled in a way that holds you back from being young, like your peers. And that's just a hard thing to accept, like at the end of the day, for any chronic illness, for anyone that's young. That's just a hard thing. But if it makes that person feel any better, then it's not just us in the epilepsy community that feel that way. It's just all of us that are chronically ill, that are just held back from being the age that we are just because of what we have. But that's why we have communities like this, and it's why it's good to find outlets and sources and groups where you feel connected and things that occupy your mind and help you throughout the day.
Well put.
I wanted to drive my entire life and I can't drive at all ever. So that used to be my biggest dream. So but my next best thing is a jet ski. So I mean It's all about finding alternatives and, working with your body and with your illness and not against it.
Yeah.
As a side note, ethosuximide is also called Zerontin. And that my son has absent seizures and that's what he takes. I forgot the
Okay.
question because I was thinking about, you got distracted and thinking about that.
Um, yeah, kind of moved on to another question. I can't find the other one though. Anyone remember that one? No. Here's a good one. It says sexsomnia and epilepsy. Hi, everyone. I was diagnosed with epilepsy following one nocturnal seizure, tonic-clonic, in November last year. Had an EEG earlier this year, about 3 months ago, which was indicative of predisposition to epilepsy, frontal temporal lobe transients. I didn't actually receive a clear diagnosis until I saw my neurologist. I hadn't, but anyway, so the gist is frontal-ish seizure activity, been on lamotrigine since 2025 in March, and working up to 75 milligrams 2 times a day. I had terrible headaches following this seizure in November, and they continue to be present more often than not. Over the last week, 2 occasions, my partner has told me during my sleep I started to be irritable in my sleep, restless, and then wank myself off for a period of like 5 seconds while flaccid. Completely bizarre. So I was looking into it and came across sexsomnia. Has anyone else experienced this before? Some stuff online suggests that seizures can often be mistaken for sexsomnia and epileptics. Some advice would be appreciated and some banter to keep it light. It's just kind of scary. I'm wondering what happens if it's not just self-touching. My partner is super understanding and found it hilarious the first time, but it's not something I want to carry on with.
I have
It's
nothing to
that
add to
I'm
that.
not.
Yeah, I don't really know what.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I don't really know what to add to that.
And
That might be something to look into.
get a nanny cam would be the popular suggestion.
Good thing the partner's understanding.
If you guys could send nanny cam suggestions, that would be great, by the way. Just a sidebar, sorry.
Yeah, there you can see those clamp arms beginning to open up.
Yeah, the internet has nothing about sexsomnia.
Now, propellers
Oh,
countdown, and that's the intentional.
Maybe their medicine's making them have really vivid dreams. I know mine sometimes make me have very active dreams. But I don't know about sexsomnia.
I looked up ChatGPT really quick. It's
Referred to as engine chill.
what is it here? Sexomnia or sexsomnia is a type of parasomnia, which means it's an abnormal behavior that happens during sleep. People with sexomnia engage in sexual behaviors while they are asleep and usually have no memory of doing so. Common behaviors include masturbation, sexual vocalizations, fondling or initiating sex with a partner, in some cases, full sexual intercourse. Have fun with that.
right.
So is it related to sleepwalking at all then? Kind of, I mean, parasomnia, so it's in the same category. Cause I mean, if that's the case, I do have a history of sleepwalking as a child.
Yes.
And I had heard, I knew that certain behaviors, like seeming somewhat complex seeming behaviors, can actually be carried out while fully asleep, apparently while I would, get up out of bed and come out into the living room and kitchen or something in the middle of the night, and my parents would say that it looked like I was really distressed and like I was looking for something, looking around.
Well, yeah, that is the
And
key word. It happens during sleep. Parasomnia
yeah,
happens during sleep.
I used to
yeah.
sleepwalk as a child, and one time my mom caught me outside at nighttime, and
Mm.
she came and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm looking for socks." And I was asleep the whole time. And then another time when I was little, I was starting a bath for my baby doll, and I just turned on the hot water only. And so the bathtub was running, and my mom didn't notice that I was up and doing stuff until I was like yelling because I was trying to get into the bathtub. So you can do like
Yeah, some
it's
pretty
complex.
complex,
Yeah.
scary stuff. Yeah.
My mom was afraid she'd have to put the knives up.
Rockets going up in less than a minute, just side note, anybody in visual range or want to watch it on the SpaceX YouTube thing or something. They're launching the Falcon 9.
So let's sit back and watch.
30 seconds. I gotta go. I gotta go out on the front porch. I'll be right back.
Um, so it said, no. Grew up thinking I was just broken. Turns out it was epilepsy. I'm honestly trying to feel less alone right now. Since I was 8, I've had these strange episodes, fear out of nowhere, confusion, feeling like I wasn't real. I'd asked to go to the hospital, but every time they'd ask me to run a quick check, say I was fine, and send me home. Eventually, everyone around me assumed I was just being dramatic and a spoiled, overly sensitive kid. And I started believing that too. At 15, the psychiatric labels started: bipolar, OCD, PTSD, one after another. Nothing ever quite fit, but I kept hoping something would eventually explain what I was going through. It wasn't until I turned 20 that I was finally diagnosed with focal impaired awareness seizures, non lesional left temporal lobe. It was confirmed through EEGs that moment changed everything and nothing at the same time. It explained so much, but it didn't undo the years of confusion and self-doubt. It's been almost a year since the diagnosis. The brain fog is better, the memory is improving, but emotionally, I feel like something inside me is still buried. Like I lost years of knowing who I was supposed to be. Has anyone else been through this? Has epilepsy or misdiagnosis or stolen parts of who you are? I just feel the need to feel seen.
I think they kind of summed up when they said what's done has been done. You can't undo not knowing for so long, but even the misdiagnosis just kind of makes it worse because then they were being treated for something they probably didn't have. A lot of those antipsychotics can definitely have residual effects and side effects that were probably just totally unnecessary. But I guess my only advice for this person would be, instead of focusing on that, try and just find some joy in being on the right track now.
Go ahead, Toaster.
Stay positive. There's always another hope. And as someone who was misdiagnosed as a teenager with panic attacks, which were honestly just my post seizure self, I wasn't diagnosed until I was in labor. And so I've had epilepsy for over 20 years without knowing it. Well, I knew it for 10 of it, for about a decade now. But and finally knowing exactly what is going on is a great thing, because then you can jump tracks, if that makes any sense. It was able to jump tracks to, okay, let's find a different medication, one that targeted seizures and not, depression. I mean, you still might have depression, that they're still okay. But I mean, no, crap, I don't know where I'm going with this. Never mind.
Hi, Toaster, you have a cookie for me?
Always for you. Well, actually, not right now. I don't.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, my mom says that the first thing I have to bake is a raspberry tart.
Yeah,
I just
that
moved
sounds
in
good too.
to a new house. It's great.
I got some blueberry muffins yesterday. I'm gonna make today. Well, probably not today because I'll be here. But yeah,
Munchies.
I have a comment for that person. I've never been through that before, misdiagnosis, but I know if you're around people that have never seen an absent seizure, they might not know what it looks like. My son was diagnosed, he was about 7 or 8, and the only reason why he was diagnosed is because I have epilepsy and I knew about it. And I told my husband, I was like, I think he's having absent seizures. He's like, no, you're crazy. But I was like sure of it. I was like, no, that is what is going on. So I got him a referral to a neurologist, and bam, the EEG, abnormal brain waves. So I feel like my son's lucky that, in a way, whatever you want to think, that I knew what it looked like. Because if you're not around people that know what it looks like, I am sure you would go years without being diagnosed. And that's unfortunate, but I mean, I don't think you can necessarily blame the people around you, but you can still be mad at them if they're telling you you're being overly dramatic and being dismissive of the things you're saying. You can still be mad about that, but I don't know if being mad about them for not recognizing it is helpful. And I think that person should know that we all see them and that it's okay. They'll be okay. Even if it sucks.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.